Hello everyone and welcome back to another video brought to you by webvidtuts.com. This is video 29 in the HTML training series, and in this video we'll be learning about how to use table layouts to create a website. Now this video is going to be kind of long because we're actually going to create a website together. I already have a website pre-made that we're going to make together. Let me go ahead and open that up real quick. This is the website that I made. It took me about 10 minutes to make something like that. What we're going to do is use a table for the layout to hold all of our content in and all of our sections. And for each row on our table is going to be something different. For instance, this row will be the banner, this row will be the content, and this row will be the footer of the website. As you can see, the banner right here is title of the site is Bradland, which that's a pretty cool name. We have some content right here and this column right here, and then we have some links to other pages on our sites right here. But actually these links go to the same exact page with index dot whatever this one is right here. But this is like the basic structure of practically every web page. It may not look exactly like this, like they might not have a column right here for links, but they might have like a row right here for links. But for this one, this is just a pretty simple little website you guys can make. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because it's going to take a while to record this. I'll probably be exhausted by the end of this video. So let's go ahead and begin making this layout right here. I'm just going to go ahead and follow along with me. Practically all the code that I'm going to write, you guys probably know almost all of it, or most of it, if not all of it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and code our table. So let's go ahead into our body and type in table. And put a closing table tag. And let's hit tab because we want our code to be spaced out and clean looking. And we're going to make 3 rows. So let's go ahead and make tr, and then right after that, make another tr. And then what we're going to do is just copy the code. Hit enter twice, and then make another row, and then make another row. And these are going to be separated between, this is going to be the banner row, this is going to be the row that holds the columns for our content, and this is going to be the footer. And as you can see, this can be the banner row, this is the content row, and this is the footer row right here. And now we have to put our columns in these rows, since if you make a row, you have to put a column there. And the tag for column is TD. Let's go ahead and make it like that. Oops, that's not how you make that. And this will be our columns right here. And we're going to go ahead and copy this column, and we're going to go down to this row right here. Then between the 2 row tags right here in the middle, and copy. We're going to do it twice in this row. I'll show you later what we're going to do, since this only has 1 row and this has 2 rows. And then go down the footer row and just make 1 column right there. Since this one has 2 columns, these 2 rows right here have to also have 2 columns. But there's one thing we can do to pass that exception, I guess you'd call it, or to go around that. And what we can do is on our row tag, on our footer and our banner row tag right here, we're going to call these, we're going to give these IDs later. We can make this column span across 2 columns, and in order for us to do that, on our row we have to type in, actually, one second. No, on our column, I'm sorry about that. This is just a long video and I gotta remember many things. On this row we have to write col span, COL span, and what this is going to do is just span this row or this column across 2 columns. We're going to define 2 columns 1 second, and like I said, it's going to span this column across 2 columns, so it's like 2 columns wide basically. Or it's like putting 2 columns and just making it 1 big column. That's basically all it does. And we're going to have to give this to this column too down here in the footer row down here. And that is basically the basics for the table so far, with the tables, columns, and rows. What we're going to do now is actually start giving these rows some names and making them look good. Actually, right now, let's go ahead and give this a border of 1. Well, you don't have to. I'm just going to show you what it looks like so far. As you can see, it's just a little table because we haven't done any styling to it. We haven't defined a width or a height of the table yet. So what we're going to have to do is go into our CSS right here and start writing all of our styles. Actually, but before we do that, let's just give these IDs real quick. We'll code the IDs in the CSS in 1 minute. Name is content. The top row will be called banner, given an ID of banner. The middle row will be given an ID of content, and then the last row will be given an ID of footer. This is just going to help us remember which row is which. The first thing that we need to do is give the table some characteristics. And what we're going to do is just define how big the table is going to be, and we're going to put a different kind of border on the table, just like in this one right here. As you can see, we have a black border going around the table right here. It's kind of hard to see because we have a dark color right down here, but it's actually going above this little green. Let me put this right here. There we go. I have a border going around the entire table. Just makes the site look a little bit better. And so let's go ahead and code that right now too. I'm going to do border. I don't think we've ever learned about the border yet. So what you have to do is when you make a border on something, you have to define the border right here, and then how thick you want your border to be. So 1 pixel. But we're not going to put a semicolon right there yet. We actually have to put space, and we have to give it a little bit more information. There's different types of borders you can put on your table or put a border around anything. There's solid, there's dotted lines, and there's some others. I forget what they're called right now, but the kind of border that we want is just like this one, and I have a solid border on this. So what we're going to do is type in solid to let this know that we're going to put a solid border around. And then after that, we have to define which color we want the border, and black is the border color that we want. So it goes border width, what kind of border do you want on it, and then the color of the border. And then if we test this now, it'll put a little black box right here. That's because we still haven't given the width and height of it yet. But let's go ahead and get this video moving along. I want it to be like, well, we got approved for 15-minute long video, or longer than 15-minute video. So I guess it really doesn't matter how long this video is. But and now what we have to do is define the height of the table and the width. I want our website to be about, where did I make this one? I think this is about 600 pixels. So we're going to make the height of the table to be about 600 pixels, and that gives us a pretty good little sized website, just like this one right here. And then our width will be, let me check what our width, I think it was about 300. I put, alright, the width of the table will also be 600 pixels. It doesn't look like a box. So basically, we're having a box as the container of the site. It doesn't look like it's 600 by 600. If you look at it, okay. If you look at it like sideways, it looks even. And notice how our table is on the left hand side of the screen. Well, we want to fix that real quick. And let me get all these out of the way. There's a way we can do this, and well, there's one way we can do it, I know. You can do, just go ahead and type what I type, margin right auto and margin left auto. Typing these two codes in will actually center your table. There's an easier way to actually center the table, but it's kind of a deprecated way of doing it. That means it's not really supported much anymore, and it's kind of an old kind of way to do it. But this is basically the newest way and the best way to center our tables. The other way was actually to go into the table and align it to center. But you really don't want to do that. That's a really bad programming coding practice, as they say it. And you really don't want to get the habit of doing that all the time. So we're going to do margin left and margin right auto. And this is going to center our table right now. As you can see, the table is now centered since those two styles are put in, and it's looking a lot like this now. And I just closed that off. I'll just reload it back, and that is looking, let me run this again. Alright, so our table is looking a lot like that one of Bradland. So let's go ahead and start coding. Oh, you don't want that. Alright, let's go ahead and start coding our banners, content, and the footer rows real quick. So let's go ahead and, since this banner is in a table, or a table row, I should say, we're going to go ahead and just write table row, and we learned about compound styling in a couple of videos ago. One thing I didn't point out is that you shouldn't put a space in between like the ID names. I had a space in between last time, but I think you're supposed to put it with no spaces. But it worked last time, so I'm not really sure. I haven't really found an answer, but I guess it's best to not use any spaces once you have an ID after. But if you're using tags like that, then you have to put a space. But if it's ID or class, you're putting it right after the main selector, then you don't have to put a space. It's probably not recommended to put a space. That's just a little tidbit for you. So we're going to change the banner row right now. And we're going to go ahead and give that row a background color of green. And let's go ahead and load this up. Alright, we have a background color of green. But if you look at the Bradland, that green heading is a little too big. So what we're going to do is give it a height of about, I think it was about 150 pixels. And if we load that back up, it shrinks a little bit, and it's looking still a bit bigger. I think it's about 100 actually. Not 1500. And this will actually give us the look of what Bradland looks like. Alright, so we got that styling out. And what we're going to do is come down here into our body, and we're actually going to write what our banner is going to say. So we'll put an H1 tag right there since it's pretty important. And we're going to write the name of our website. And I won't make Bradland again. And so that's going to put a Bradland and an H1 tag right into that banner row. And we're going to go ahead and style that. Since we only have one H1 tag, probably only one actual tag inside of this banner row right here, we're going to just go ahead and style the text through here. We're going to give it every text in there. So we're going to make it white. And let's see what that looks like. And that's looking pretty good right now. As you can see, it's pretty close to what it looks like right now. We'll change the font family of it later. I'm going to show you an easy way how to define all the fonts in the entire page, but we'll do that in just a moment. Now what we need to do is, since we have configured all the banner stylings, we're going to go ahead and do the content stylings. So since content is a row, we're going to go TR for table row and then type in contents, as we're going to change the content of our page. And now what we're going to do is actually, let me take a look at my code real quick. Okay, I've saved now. I keep forgetting what I typed in the code. So now we're going to actually make the table row content 400 pixels. That's a pretty good sized layout for the content, a lot of room to leave for like putting text on your web page and everything. And that's looking pretty good right now. You won't be able to see it on here, but it's actually there. Let's go ahead and style the footer. We'll go back to the table row in a minute, or table content, the table row content in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and style the footer real quick, and we're going to footer a height of, since we have 400 pixels for this row and 100 pixels for this row, we're going to give 100 pixels to the footer. So 100 pixels to the footer. And then take a look at this. We have a background color of black, and the color of the text is white. And as you notice, it is centered. I want to show you how to do that also. So, I want the background color of this section to be black. I want a black colored footer. And now what we're going to do is, one second, let me look at my code quick. Okay, I see how I did it. What we're going to do now is define that we want the text. Actually, let's put the text in there first. That'll make a lot easier. Copyright. So we're going to footer, and we're going to change the text what the footer says. So copyright 2011 Bradland. All rights reserved. That's not what the other one says, but you can put anything you want in there. It doesn't really matter. So we're back in our styles right now, and what we need to do is make this text right here white. So what we're going to do is make everything in the footer, all the text in the footer, to be white, since we have a black background. And once we load the page up, as you can see, the background is now black and the color of the text is white. But as you can see, the text is not centered, and there's a way to make it centered. And what we have to do is go right here in the styling and type in text align center. What this is going to do is just basically center the text horizontally. Or no, yes, horizontally. I was getting vertical and horizontal confused for a minute. But it's going to put it right in the center of that row right there. So again, if we load the page up, refresh it, the text is now centered in that row, and it's looking really good now. And it's looking just like this one right here, except for the font family. But we're going to change the font family in a little bit later. We're going to apply it to everything on the web page in one simple command. So now that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and let's write the content of our site. So let's go ahead into the content row. Inside the first column, and we're going to put a H2 tag right there. Closing also, and we're going to write welcome to Bradland, or whatever you named your site. And we'll put an exclamation point right there. And then we're going to put a paragraph after that, and we're going to say like, I'm going to say like my site's about computer repairing, so I'm going to put Bradland is your place for 100% professional computer repair and web design. I'll do that too. It doesn't exactly say it on this one, but it really doesn't matter. Web design. We will make your computer run so fast that it blows up. So that's pretty fast if it blows up. And if we refresh the page, content comes on the page, and everything looks kind of weird right now. But we'll change that in 1 second. And then let's go ahead and put our links onto the second column. This column right here is going to hold all of our links that we have right here. And how we're going to do the links is that we're going to put them, see they're in a list right now, so we're going to put them in an unordered list. So let's write UL and let's put a closing UL right here. And then when we're making lists, we have to put li for each list item that we have that we're going to make. So we have UL, we're making an unordered list, and then let's go ahead and copy this a few times, copy and paste it about 3 more times so that you have 4 list items right there. And we're going to make about 4 links on our sites. And just write something like computer repair, web design. Let's see, what's another one? Our prices, and then about us. And this will be the links that will appear on the right side of the page. That's going to appear right here. And so once we refresh the page that we're making, it looks kind of weird right now. That's because we haven't put any styles on the inner contents right here. So that's what we're going to do now, is put the contents styling now. So let's go back up here and let's take a look at this real quick. And let's look at this other one. As you can see on this one, the text is actually at the top of this row right here. And as you can see on this one, it's about in the center. So we're going to have to do that, and we're going to have to put this border right here, this right border that separates the right side of the page from the left. And we're going to have to actually define the widths of each of these columns so that this one's bigger than this one over here. So that's the stylings that we have to apply on this. And what we're going to do is, on these table columns right here, we're going to each give one of these a ID. So this will be the right side column, and this will be the left column right here. So let's go ahead and make those in our CSS. So we'll do tr content, since we're in the content, and then we'll do right. Actually, let's do left first. And we're going to style the left side of that content, or the left column content, inside the content. So we'll make the width about 70%. So 70% of that row will be for that one column, since we're going to give it an ID in 1 second. And then to make our text go at the top of the row right here, there's one command that we have to type in, and that is vertical align top. And that's going to align the text and the content to the top of the page instead of the middle. And now let's go ahead and make the stylings for the right side column. So we'll do width as about 30%, and then we'll do vertical align top for that also. So now if we refresh the page, it's not working. That's because we didn't put the IDs on there yet. That kind of freaked me out there for a minute. So let's go ahead and put this as the left column, and we'll give this column the ID of right, since it's the right column. Now when we refresh the page, it'll actually not style it still. What is going on? Let's do, let me look at my code real quick. I really don't want to restart this video right now. Vertical line top. Okay, I see what we have to do. What we have to do is actually put TD right there to make it say, like, okay, when it's in the row. And now if we put this, refresh this page, it'll actually do it now, because last time we didn't define that when it's in a TD, when it's a row, or in a column. I keep getting column row mixed up. But when it's in a column, then do this. So every row not every row, every column named left that's in the content row, put this on there. That's what it's doing. Kind of get a little mixed up because this is already a long video. What we're going to have to do now is, this is looking a lot like this, but there's a couple things we need to do. We need to make these links, and we have to put a bar right here, a border. And another thing we have to do is make all this Arial font. So what we have to do now is, on this right here, the left column, we're going to have to give it a border right attribute, or I forget what it's called in CSS, but we'll give it the border right attribute. I think it's called, or the border right style. And all this does is that it gives the right hand side border the styling. It won't give any other border, like the top, left, or the bottom, any styling at all. So we'll have to put, just like the other border up here, 1 pixel solid black. That's exactly what we're going to put in this, 1 pixel solid black. And now it'll put this black border right here on our web page. The next thing we need to do is make these links, which that's very simple to do. Always have to put them as in the A tag. So we'll do A, and then hypertext reference index.html. Or just actually this one's called layout.html, whichever file name you're using right now. The closing A tag, and then we'll just put this link on every single one of these. You can probably just copy and paste, but I'm just going to type them all real quick. So just do that for all of them. It takes a while to type all these. Layout.html. That ahref equals layout. Whoops. Layout.html. And now we're done typing all of that. So now we have our links over here that actually are real links now. Go ahead and refresh this. These are now real links. As you see, there's one more thing we need to do. The reason these are purple is because I've already clicked on them. If I click on these, then it blows up. Oh, because I have this layouts. It doesn't matter. As long as you point it back to the same file, it should work. But I put this as layout.html instead of layouts.html. The next thing we need to do is make all this font Arial. There's one little thing you can do to do that really quick. And your CSS styles, right above table, go ahead and put the asterisk right there. And what this is going to do is, this means apply to everything. So it's going to apply to everything on the entire page, no matter what. So we're going to give everything the font family of Arial. And that's all it is. It just applies to everything, gives everything on the entire web page the font family Arial. And if we load up our page, everything is an Arial font now, thanks to that little CSS styling. Now if you notice, there are some little white spaces right here, like around this, but on this one it doesn't. There's no white spaces like around the border, or like around the border of this green. So in order for us to actually get rid of that, it's just one simple styling thing. We have to do, in the table CSS, we have to do border spacing, I think it's 0, and that'll get rid of the white spaces around anything inside of your table. So now this is looking just like this. That's what we wanted. And you have just completed your first website, your little first web page, and actually everything's looking pretty good right here. So if you followed along, you should have came up with something similar or the same exact thing of what this looks like right here. It took a little long because I had to explain everything. I think this video is like 30 minutes long. That's a pretty long video. So Well, at least you learned how to do the layout of your website, of a basic website. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys are pretty happy that you made your first website. You can put anything on there basically, and you can just change the styles to what you're styling, what you want your website to look like. So that's pretty nice. And that is the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys stuck along for the 30-minute video, then you are awesome. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel and register as a member on our site, webvidtuts.com. Thank you all for watching, and you all have a good day. Goodbye.